Hello everybody. Welcome back to Friday with Dannphan. Good Friday, in fact. It is Good Friday. Easter coming up soon. So I hope you all have some nice plans, perhaps with family, maybe some egg-related activities, or maybe just eating peeps at home. That's fine. You know, we all celebrate in our own ways. The weather, it is perhaps a little cloudy, but otherwise not bad. Obviously, the weather has been insane for us lately, with it becoming like really hot and then really cold and then really hot again. But we're getting towards spring, so soon it's gonna just be a nice mellow warm, and I'll enjoy that when that comes. But yeah, so we can go over some news or whatever like is in the reaction section of the Discord, whatever you want to do. For now, I guess we should go over the campaign, since that's like maybe the most relevant news to go over. So let's see. We're about midway through when it comes to fulfilling backer tiers for the latest Reaper campaign. There are still some people who have not gotten back to me with their information. Guys, you're killing me. You are murdering me. I am being absolutely murdered right now. Let me tilt this down a little more. It's like, that's a little better, I suppose. I'm trying to like maybe center myself a little, make it a little more even that out a bit. So yeah, there's like maybe, I think 9 people still who haven't gotten back to me with their shipping information or t-shirt information for that matter. There's one person on Fund My Comic who's not gotten back to me about their t-shirt information. Luckily, Fund My Comic gives me the address information immediately. Kickstarter does not. Kickstarter, it only will send out notifications to give you, to get an address to actually ship the rewards once the campaign owner is like ready to start fulfilling things. So for other, I guess I should say, crowdfunding campaigns, you put in your address information at the beginning, but that's not true of Kickstarter. You just back it. You only put in like your card information and that's it, and an email, and maybe that's it. But yeah, so there's still a bunch of people who haven't answered the survey, who have not given me their address where to ship the books. And I have been like contacting people directly about it, because I kind of figured, oh well, Kickstarter sends out a bunch of emails whenever there's like an update for the campaign or whatever they're trying to push. So maybe it just gets pushed to spam after a while. Maybe people just mark Kickstarter as a spam email, and they don't actually see the important emails. Perhaps. That is a possibility. Some people got back to me when I emailed them directly. Not everyone. And I'm still sending out emails, even now. So you might receive an email soon. But, you know, maybe I'm also marked as spam, just because I'm an unknown email that you're getting contacted by. I'm not sure. Not 100% on that. But that is also something to consider. And one person, funny enough, the email that they left on their Kickstarter doesn't even work. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. So, what am I supposed to do with that? There's absolutely no way of contacting you. So I just have to direct message them straight on the Kickstarter. That is like on their Kickstarter account, I have to direct message them because their email just doesn't work. Oh my goodness. I hate that Kickstarter makes you go through this. I understand why, because campaigns like this, sometimes it takes a really long time to actually get to fulfillment. For this campaign, it took like a year already, and you know, a lot can happen in that time. People's addresses could change, their t-shirt size could change, you know, it's stuff like that. So that's why a Kickstarter doesn't collect all the information when you first back a campaign. They're expecting it to take a lot of time. But still, I still don't really like it. I don't think that it's the best. I mean, because why don't you just have an option to update the information if something changed? You know, I liked the way Indiegogo had it set up, where you could put in your information once you back it, and then you could go back and you could update the information. It's simple, it's straightforward, it works. It worked for everybody. But that's not how Kickstarter does things. Man, it's all the extra stress. And people say that Kickstarter is the best crowdfunding website to use. Like, hands down. At least for creative work, people say that. I don't know, maybe it is now that Indiegogo has, like, changed ownership and changed all of their menus and how stuff is organized and prioritized on their website. But I don't know, man. I still don't think Kickstarter is the best there is either. Got my Reaper book yesterday. I'll be diving into it tonight. That is good to hear. I know some people have been getting their books. Some people have been messaging me directly saying, oh, I just got it. Everything looks great. Everything's packed nicely, you know, which is, it's relieving to hear. You never know with the mail how they're gonna smash things up. But I did do my best. I did do my best to make sure everything was all nice and put together. But yeah. Back a comic, delete your email, refuse to elaborate. Yeah, isn't that maddening? The funniest part is that it's someone that I kinda know. Not in person, but I know on the channel. Like, they're a long-time subscriber. I've seen them in these live streams. I've seen them in the comments section. This person does not have a working email for their Kickstarter. How am I supposed to give you stuff? Oh, man. And there's another person, too, who I also know, maybe a little bit more directly, who just, I mean, granted, they're going through some stuff, right? I expect that they're probably busy, but it's like the same thing, not answering the emails, and it's like, come on. They're not active on social media either, so I know that if I message them there, it's probably not gonna be much different. I don't know, man. Some people just make it a little bit difficult to get in contact with them. Maybe I should just publicly shame them, just list all the names of the people who have not given me their information yet. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go about it. Oh my goodness. Yep, my stuff came in nicely, well done. Good to hear. Very good to hear. Fun My Comic is good, but the features leave much to be desired. Yeah, Fun My Comic is still very early, you know? They still have to, like, work out the kinks of that. I'm just now realizing, because putting together the campaign page is, like, fine. I don't think it looks bad or anything. It's very much like, it's very much similar to putting together a campaign page for Kickstarter or Indiegogo. There's not really much issue there. I'm just now starting the fulfilling process of Fun My Comic, though, and I do not like how they list everything out. It is very confusing. Oh man, especially because they list every single transaction, even the failed transactions. And they just have them all in one spot, so you better pay very close attention to make sure you're not fulfilling a failed transaction. It's just walking that tightrope. Just make sure that you don't fuck this up. So yeah, I think there's certainly some improvements that could be made to fund my comic. But you know, it is still new, and anything that's still new will obviously have some problems with it. It's just something that they have to work on more and keep improving on in the future. Can you explain how to make the soul vial glow? So it's glow in the dark, right? And with all glow-in-the-dark things, if you shine it with light or put it out in the sun, you can use a flashlight, that also works, you'll charge it. I don't know how the scientific details or anything, but you will charge it up with light, and then in the dark, it'll start to glow. But you have to like leave it out to get charged by light sources first. So you can just grab a flashlight, shine it on the soul vial for like a couple seconds, and then if you like cup it in your hands, you can see it starting to glow. It's nice. I think for the promotional video that I did for the campaign, I charged it up with a flashlight. The only projects on there are just cheesecake comics at the moment, though. Lol. Yeah, I don't know. There's some variety, but maybe like the cheesecake stuff definitely gets pushed to the top. Maybe that's what people think that everyone wants, so will be the most successful. It's the same thing with Kickstarter, kinda. There's a lot of not safe for work comics that get pushed a lot on Kickstarter. It's honestly a little bit shocking. I don't know why, but it's like not safe for work and LGBT, not mutually exclusive, but those two things pushed a lot on Kickstarter, it seems. Let's see. Are you excited for the X-Men 97 or Dead or Alive 7? I'm not in either of those fandoms. So, let's see, what X-Men shows have I seen? I've seen a little bit of like the really, really old cartoon, and then I've seen X-Men Evolution, and I think that's about it. But you know, very, very brief encounters. Don't know anything about Dead or Alive, never played a single game of Dead or Alive that I can remember anyways. I have not watched the X-Men 97 show. I heard it was good. I also heard that, like, they made Rogue and Magneto a thing, which is, ew, don't like that. So I think that repels me from it in general. I don't want to see that. Oh, and before you start in your comments slapping on the keyboard, I don't care if they did it in a comic run. I don't care. That doesn't mean I have to like it. If I don't like it in the comics, I won't like it animated either. It doesn't matter. Oh, but yeah. I don't check my emails anymore. Everyone I know uses Telegram. Well, you have to check your emails, otherwise you don't get my Kickstarter rewards. That's how that works. That's how that works. Because I have no other way of getting your information on Kickstarter unless you answer the Kickstarter survey or email me directly. You know, very difficult. Where's my anti-work content? No more working. Everyone stay at home. There you go. There's your anti-work content. Anti-woke content. There you go. That's what you meant. I do have another read-through planned. But before that, I have like all these other obligations to fulfill. I've got another Try Treats box to open, and 2 more people were contacting me about having their comics reviewed on the channel. We'll see if that like goes through. But the next read through that I want to do is Nubia 2. Obviously. The Nubia 2 reel. Obviously, I've got to cover that. That is, yeah, that's a heavy hitter right there. Especially with how crazy the first one was. The fact that it even got a sequel in the first place is shocking. It seems like all of the worst DC YAs, the ones that have gotten my worst ratings, it seems like they've managed to get the sequels out of everything. Actually, did the Catwoman one get a sequel? I think Under the Moon is maybe the only one that did not get a sequel. But Galaxy and Nubia got sequels. Crazy, right? They must really want kids to commit suicide. I don't know what it is. Comic accurate doesn't always mean good. Yeah, no, that is the actual truth of the matter. You can dislike something in the comics and then also dislike it when they adapt it faithfully. Because, you know, a critique of a story is still... it's still a story element that you've critiqued. It doesn't matter, like, if it's faithful or not. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's just how it is. But a lot of people like to just operate their life on a black and white filter. Like, believing one way is good and one way is bad. And, you know, real life is a little bit more complicated than that. It's a little more nuanced. It's not always gonna be one way all the time. Yeah, I gotta resort to carrier pigeons to communicate with my backers. Exactly. Bring out the pigeons. Let's go. Ah, man. Yeah, I never understand what is so mature on nihilistic stories. I have more fun at stories where I know who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I've been craving those kind of stories a lot more lately just because I'm kind of sick of the same exact twist over and over again. Yeah, I feel like a little burnt out on the whole morally gray thing. I understand like maybe redemption stories and, you know, maybe a little bit more complexities, but when the author themselves can't decide who is the good guy, it's just exhausting, because you're just seeing a very morally confused person writing a story, and there's kind of nothing else there. But, you know. Yes, comic accurate is kind of weaponized now, sketchy stuff in adaptations being justified that way. Yeah, people should keep in mind that American comic books are not the same as how things operate in, say, Japan with manga. It's not one author writing these characters and making canon that way, right? It is multiple different authors writing the same characters in multiple different ways, doing all kinds of sketchy stuff that maybe fans don't like sometimes. Sometimes they like it, and maybe sometimes they don't like it. And it's also just kind of exhausting to have a character that there's no real... It doesn't even feel like there is a real canon version of the character because so many different writers write it. And they all write it in different ways. So, in a way, I think manga has an edge on American comics because at least there's some consistency most of the time, just from the fact that it's coming from the same author throughout the whole series. But you know, I've been over it. I have been over it before. I'm just looking at the reaction request section of the Discord now. Let me see. The problem with nitpicking is one of the videos. Although I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like nitpicking. I think it's kind of fun. Hot take. I think nitpicking is hilarious. And I enjoy it a lot. Oh yeah, I heard about the Fruit Island thing. I'm gonna pass on that. That's a weird one to go viral, but it feels like it's mostly going viral now because people are so like sickened by it and less about them actually enjoying it. This is sort of the same with the morning milking farm thing. Like, nobody knew what the fuck that book was. It's a bunch of, like, what? Middle-aged women on TikTok pretending that they're young, saying, oh my god, I love this book. Probably paid to advertise it in the first place. And the real reason why it goes viral and why everybody knows about it now is just because we were all sickened by it. Maybe I'm just white pill posting here, but I don't think a lot of these things are as popular as I think people make them out to be. I would never, ever have heard of that book if it wasn't for people shitting on it and saying that it was disgusting. Real life fake wizard. I've seen a couple of this guy's videos flying around all over the place. I don't even remember watching a single one of them, though, even though YouTube keeps on recommending him to me. Maybe I should start watching him. Maybe that's something I should be doing, for sure. My god, there's so many videos in here. I wonder if any of these are, like, short enough that I can just pull them up right now. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Anime is boring. It's now looking great for anime. I'm kind of interested on this take, honestly. Because I sort of maybe half agree, but also half disagree. I think a lot of anime is starting to feel more formulaic. Yeah, maybe I should pull up this video. Maybe some people will be interested in seeing what the heck is going on. Let me see. Can I... Oh, Discord is a little bit weird, huh? It wants to play it through the... it's 35 minutes long. I might not be able to finish this all in the stream, but let's do our best. This is the video that was posted in the reaction request. It's not looking great for anime. What does the comment say? Definitely a problem with quantity over quality in anime. There's gold if you search. 100% true. 100%. This guy knows what's up, right? There's literally anime airing for anybody, like there is good stuff in almost all genres. Don't know what he's saying. No clue what that means. Stop producing isekai slops would be a great start. Well, you see, isekai slops are still popular because people like the leveling up formula. And it's not even like I don't get it. I get it. I understand why people like the leveling up formula. But it can't all be isekai. Like, there's a way to have that without it being isekai slop. I think that it's not... The issue isn't necessarily the formula or what people like about it. The issue is that people are putting less and less effort into making those kinds of stories. But yeah. OVAs need to come back! I would love that, actually. I would actually love that. It's fucking great. Good take. solid take. Let's see what he says. Let me know if the volume sucks when I start playing this video, because sometimes it's just way too loud and nobody tells me. So feel free to mention if it's way too loud, or if you hear an echo or anything.
I've been talking about anime on the internet for the better half of the past decade or so, although I've slowed down quite a bit when talking, at least semi-regularly on the Anime Man channel, about the thing that is in the title.
Sorry, I hate this earring so much. It's wiggling around everywhere. It's so distracting. Too loud, yeah. It's pretty loud. Thank you for saying something. I can turn it down. Look at this. Look at that, I can turn it down. I can even turn the subtitles on.
Title of my channel name. I've always still had a very firm grasp on the interest when it comes to the overall Japanese animation culture and all of the interesting and cool things that are surrounding this idea of manga and anime and all adjacent Japanese media. As much as I may not be talking about it in video format like this, I'm still regularly reading new manga, watching new anime. I'm thoroughly enjoying Free Run Season 2 right now as we speak. But there is also a part of me that just cannot deny that, I don't know, man, anime has gotten kind of boring lately. Now, mind you, I have seen a lot of anime in my lifetime. You know, I have entire videos where I go over some of the worst anime ever made, some of the best anime ever made, the oldies, the newbies, you name it. I've pretty much perused through the entirety of notable or worth talking about anime and manga series in, again, the past decade plus career that I've had on the internet. So it might just be a natural progression for me as someone who is also getting older that maybe anime just isn't really what it used to be anymore, or perhaps it's just a personal thing for me. Maybe anime is just as good as it's ever been, but I've fallen off of it.
It's honestly kind of hard to gauge something like that, because you don't know if you just have a different response because you're getting older and you're changing, and therefore your tastes are also changing. For example, there's some anime that I grew up with as a teenager. When I was a teenager, I thought it was fucking banging. I thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, man, why can't cartoons in the West be like this? This fucking rules. It's so funny. It's so relatable. I like go back and I watch some of that anime now as an adult, and I'm like, this is fucking ass. This is garbage. I used to like this? What was wrong with me? Oh man, some mentally disabled Dannphan watching like some of this hyper teenage anime that's just fucking awful. But my main point is, that is also a thing to consider when you're growing up, is that, you know, some of your taste is going to change, and what you enjoy is going to change. And if maybe an industry stays the same, but what is normal in the industry is just something that you don't actually enjoy anymore because you've changed and this industry has stayed the same. So that's something to also consider. But I do think there are objective things about the anime industry that has changed. Perspectives have been shifted, and that's true of manga too. What they prioritize has changed, and for every generation or so, there's a different type of art style that becomes the new, I guess, industry standard art style. And right now we have a very distinct art style that is kind of industry standard, what we expect anime to look like. But that does also lead to a lot of anime looking the same and generic and not really standing out much anymore. There are some projects that break from this, of course. I don't mean to say that, you know, this is true of everything, but I think everyone can for the most part agree that there is kind of an industry standard art style for a lot of anime. And whenever a manga has like kind of a different or unique art style, it feels like once the anime comes out for that manga, it's watered down. Like, the original style of it is watered down quite a lot. And, you know, it's a shame, because they want it to be more sellable to a wider audience. So they just go with the industry standard. Or, you know, you could argue it's because they don't want it to be too tedious for the animators to learn a new style or learn animating in this new style that they're not used to. So they just water it down. They make it a little bit more similar to what it is with the standard style. You know. But, you know. Excel Saga, I don't think I've watched Excel Saga, but there's a couple different anime that I can fully admit is trash now, but I enjoyed as a child, for sure. I also, when I was first getting into anime, I didn't know, like, which ones were necessarily for me versus which ones were basically just softcore porn. So, you know, that was an issue. And I think that is still kind of an issue now, especially when you're pirating stuff, because, you know, there might not be a tag on it. So parents, you know, be wary of the stuff that you're kids are clicking on, for sure, 100%. But let's look at what else he has to say.
Either way, I think the argument can be made. But then I found this particular article from automatonmedia.com. Kadokawa reports a sharp decline in publishing. Anime businesses fall into deficit due to a lack of popular sequels. Now, Kadokawa is, you know, pretty close to my heart, considering the fact that Geeks Plus, the agency that I am a part of.
So that doesn't surprise me at all, because there was a huge spike during COVID. There was a huge spike in manga and anime sales during COVID. And, you know, that's probably because people just had nothing to do but, you know, buy more entertainment or, you know, buy manga, something to pass the time. All they could do was entertain themselves at home. But all spikes that happen for a reason like that, obviously they are eventually going to drop. Eventually. But it's interesting to also hear that they blame it due to lack of popular sequels. I know that's kind of always been an issue, where an anime has a very popular first season, and then the second season, nobody even knows that it exists. It's like a mystery. You need to know a guy who knows a guy who can remind you that there's a second season. And some people just don't check out the manga also. I think maybe part of that is you need to end your first season of any anime on some sort of cliffhanger. Even though that sounds kinda shady, they do sell better when you end the first season on a cliffhanger. The manga will sell better, and the second season will do better, because people are like, oh, I need to find out what happens next. You know, you need to leave it on a note that leaves people wanting more, I guess, to make them pay attention more. I don't know, man. But I think there's a lot of reasons for the decline in general.
Part of is owned by Kadokawa. And I think there is no denying that I think out of the big publishing companies in Japan producing manga, anime, and all that adjacent media, Kadokawa is pretty high up there in some of the most well-known ones. You know, we have Kadokawa, we have Shueisha, we have Kodansha, we have Shogakukan. But this article was really interesting to me, so I wanted to read through it and kind of, I guess, discuss a broader perspective
I'm reacting to a guy reading
what
an
might
article.
be the issue
I could just read the
of
article.
anime in the modern day, or where potentially modern anime is headed towards. Kadokawa, the parent company of From Software and Geeks Plus, represent, and several major anime studios recently announced its consolidated financial results for the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2026. According to GameBiz, the company reported a year-on-year decline decline in profits across its publishing, manga, print, ebooks, and video game segments, while its anime business slipped into the red and posted a net loss. In publishing, revenue actually grew overseas, especially
I mean, I know that they showed a picture of Oshinoko up at the top, which is obviously going to do poorly for reasons that you may or may not know about, but I honestly can't even remember the last couple shows that I've seen from Kadokawa. Let me see. Kadokawa anime? They have a bunch of different... I mean, they can definitely prop up a lot of different shows if it helps, because like anime for a long time was always just kind of a loss. They use it for the advertising more so than anything else. Okay, what was the last one that I viewed from Kadokawa? It wasn't Shield Hero. That's like way too long ago. I mean, Your Name, Weathering with You. I saw like one episode of 86. What is the newest thing? How do I resort this by like new? Oh, there we go. Newest. I'll share this tab so you can tell. Which of these do I recognize? Well, I recognize Tanya the Evil, but I don't like Tanya the Evil, so I'm not watching it. Oh, I watched like 2 episodes of the first season of Medalist. I think that is the last thing that I've seen from Kadokawa. And if that is the case, that is quite a shame, because it seems like they put out a lot of other stuff that I just have not seen. Yeah, for sure. Granted, you know, there is a lot of anime studios just putting out a lot of stuff all the time. And what draws you in is, it's going to be like multiple different factors for different people. But yeah, I don't know. Man. It's difficult. You have to be competing with all these other different anime studios putting out stuff. Mentalist. No, Medalist. But yeah. What I watched from it was like fine. But oh, should I turn up the speed? Is that what I should do? Because he talks too slow? Let me see.
US and Asia, but overall segment profit fell 90.2% compared to the previous year. I guess that makes sense considering the fact that anime has gotten just so much more mainstream, not only in Japan, but especially in the West. And as we've touched upon in previous articles on this very channel, it seems like a lot of publishing companies, distribution companies in the anime and manga world are really putting their focus towards the West, because again, the, I guess, overall market just in sheer numbers is so much greater than in
they
Japan.
are trying
even if
to
you
do the
Japanese
global
population
market thing.
Anime, there is still a larger pool of fish across the pond.
Well,
And
that's
yet, for some
because the
reason, we are
global
seeing
market
such a
did
massive
them
dip,
so
which doesn't really make
well.
sense. You think that the fact that there are more people
Especially in
consuming this content
2020.
more than ever would result in greater profits, but it doesn't seem like the numbers are telling the same story. Kadokawa attributed the drop primarily to lower revenue per title in Japan, as well as higher personnel expenses that further narrowed profit margins. The publisher's game business saw profit.
And, you know, I think another thing is that they're not getting the explosive hits like they used to. I've mentioned this before in another video, but they are looking for the next big hit. And they've been trying to maybe artificially prop up certain manga series as being the next hit, being the next One Piece or Jujutsu Kaisen or the next Demon Slayer. But they have not been pulling it off as smoothly as they want to, right? And so I think that is the main thing that is causing them to expand outward and look for titles globally, because they're just kind of trying to cast a wide net and take chances on more people out there. In a way, maybe that means that it is more possible for people overseas to actually become a mangaka because they are looking for people overseas as well. But you're also competing with the entire world. So even though you will be considered, you've also got even more competition than usual.
Down 7% year on year, but Kadokawa notes that this is largely the result of exceptional sales of Elden Ring's base game and Shadow of the Erdtree expansion in the previous fiscal year. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much an inescapable game when it came out. I mean, you know, you don't even have to play Elden Ring or Shadow of the Erdtree to know about it. You probably have someone in your immediate group who is just absolutely obsessed with it. I know I have plenty of friends who are absolutely obsessed with it. Even though I personally never really got into it, I respect the fuck out of it as just a piece of media for sure. On the other hand, when it comes to anime and films, Kadokawa posted a net loss of 940 million yen, or about $6.13 million US. That's pretty substantial. The company says this is a result of a big chunk of its lineup being made up of first-time anime adaptations, as opposed to sequels to established popular series, leading to lower revenue per title.
There was two separate fucking Elden Ring here, bunch of numbers that you guys can check out. Overall,
940 million yen loss
different
in anime
stories.
world. And the company reckons it's because of a bunch of first-time anime adaptations, which is basically, in the case of Kadokawa, just a nicer way of saying, oh, we adapted a bunch of recently published isekai light novels, which make up for like 80 to 90% of light novels published by Kadokawa as of recently, and big fucking shocker, no one cares. They keep continuing to produce these isekai slop that people are just going to forget after the first episode, if they even give it a chance to begin with, because let's be real, even just reading the synopsis and ridiculous titles of some of these isekai slop anime just makes me want to swear off anime for the rest of my life. And it's interesting to see, as opposed to sequels to established popular series. Obviously, even though there is so much more of a larger...
the leveling up thing, people do like that. They've just got to put more effort into it and stop, like, producing anything that follows that formula.
6. Future Anime Data Insights Lab recently published its 2026 anime industry trend forecast. I didn't even know this was a fucking thing until recently, but it's good to know because, you know, I'm always interested again in where the industry is heading towards. Outlining 8 major trends it predicts will dominate the anime market throughout the next year, and in some cases the following couple of years. Okay, so let's see. We have here apparently quantifiable data that suggests the direction that the anime industry is going to go towards. So what do the analysts reckon is going to happen in the near future for anime manga? Let's find out. From data analysis perspectives, Yutsudo
so I did notice
trends
this
likely to emerge in
too,
2026.
what he's going over right now. Sorry, he's just like... He's just not getting to the point as quickly as I would have gotten if I was doing this same video, so I'm just kind of skipping past what he's actually saying. What he's bringing up now is the fact that there are more reboot animes than ever before, and they're going back to a lot of classic series and just remaking them. And I've mentioned it before in another live stream, and I think also another video where I was talking about production committees, maybe. I talked about how usually it's a bad sign when they start rebooting classic series because, you know, they're doing a sure thing. They're doing a safe thing, something that people already like. But usually that means that they don't see potential in new titles. So it makes me kind of worried, and I think it makes the West in general kind of worried, when you see them shifting their focus to let's reboot a safe thing and let's stop taking chances on these new titles because they're not going to succeed anyway, you know? Oh god, not the anime, man. Yeah, we already have a pretty bad history when it comes to reboots and remakes. And I guess sequels also. They've been doing a lot more sequel series, which aren't always bad, but yeah, it's risky, right? Because it only takes maybe one fuck up for it to be the worst shit you've ever seen in your whole entire life. Let's see if we can get to something a little bit more interesting. Okay, he's talking about Ranma 1/2. Yeah, I know about Ranma 1/2. Yes, he's saying that this is for the people who grew up with it and not for the new people. Sure, yes.
For proven IPs is intensifying, since businesses tend to greenlight productions based on measurable performance, such as the popularity of existing source material. Works with track records are more likely to be adapted than originals. I think that one of the big reasons for me personally, at least from how I've seen it as an anime fan who has been around for 20, 30 years at this point now, God, I'm old, is the fact that, yeah, I think newer fan bases now, and again, post-COVID anime fans, have kind of stuck to 1 to 5 series in their minds, and everything else is just out of the box for them. Everything else is just a little bit too weird. Like, they are completely okay with admitting to liking anime, as long as it's something like One Piece, or Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's kind of an interesting perspective. What he's saying is, I'll just repeat what he said in a shorter way. that a lot of anime fans only stick to maybe a couple different series and they don't try anything else beyond that. That's fair, because like I said before, you kind of need somebody to recommend something to you so that you can know that it's safe, first of all, that it's not going to be straight up porn, and so that it's not going to be too weird or too out there or just fucking ass like some of the isekai slop that's out, right? You need someone to recommend you something that is right for you. I'm willing to look for a series that I think that I would enjoy. I do that all the time with manga, right? If I think I would enjoy something, I just give it a try. There's a lot of new anime coming out recently that I'll give a try. There's a lot of series that I'm keeping up with at the moment, including both like anime as well as manga series. And there are maybe more, I guess people would describe them as normies, that are not constantly looking for the next thing, but rather instead it's just more casual. Well, if someone recommends me something, I'll give it a try. But overall, not trusting just anything that they see. Which maybe is a little bit more fair. I think I have seen that with people. And even me, myself, I look for series that I think I would enjoy. But even when someone recommends me something, I want to hear what it's about first. I want to hear more details, get into the more nitty-gritty about it, to see if I would actually enjoy it. Then I'll give it a try, right? Because even people who recommend me stuff, they recommend me stuff that feels very obvious to me that I wouldn't like it. But maybe to them, you know, maybe the nostalgia or the rose-colored glasses, whatever it is, they think, oh, she'll like it because I like it. And that's the only qualifier. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of very different anime. Not all of it is made for everybody. Not all of it is made for that very wide net of people. A lot of it tends to be more niche. So it is kind of difficult to find anime that's right for you. Because it's aiming for so many different types of audiences.
Or Attack on Titan, or Demon Slayer, or My Hero, you know, all the big mainstream shows that are now in the West. And again, you have every right to like those shows, don't get me wrong, but I think for a lot of anime fans, still for some reason, anything that is outside of the big mainstream shows that everyone and their mother knows, and admitting to liking shows that are outside of the big 5 to 10, if you will, is still seen as a little bit of an embarrassing thing, or seen as something a little bit like more of a hidden flavor, more of like hidden taste, if you will. Which, look, as someone who has made a career on liking weird Japanese anime cartoons.
And that's like kind of the thing with Japan right now, is they want more big hit series like that. They don't want there to just be 5 big hit anime series that everybody watches. They want there to be like 20 or 30 or 50, you know? And that's not obviously how things are gonna work out in the long run. But right now they are losing the big top hit anime because a lot of these series are ending now. And they have nothing to replace it with. And that is terrifying for these Japanese publishers. They have no big new series to replace My Hero Academia with. They have no big new series to replace Chainsaw Man with. Nothing for One Piece when that eventually ends. There's a lot of real big hits that are going to be ending soon. And what's going to replace it? What's going to be the new big thing? We don't know yet. They haven't found it. They've been trying to push the next thing, and maybe something will pick up and explode soon. But right now I haven't been seeing anything.
Which means that anime must contain not only with fictional works, but also with rapidly updating real-world content. Which, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not agree with the statement whatsoever. I think it's suggesting that, like, you know, news and AI and maybe, like, the geopolitical landscape that is currently permeating social media and stuff like that, or, you know, reality-based entertainment, like, you know, reality TV shows and trash TV, live-action trash TV and stuff like that, has to compete with anime. I honestly disagree with that, because I think for a lot of people, anime is an escape from all of those things. And as it's always been. Anime has always been, ever since its conception, has always been a medium or through line to escape from the shittiness that is reality. And although there is, I would say, an increasingly larger group of people who are trying to relate in
Exactly.
political shit and real world
That's
events and
stupid.
geopolitical crap into their anime and trying to make a statement out of it. I think for the average anime fan, it is two completely separate things. And if anything, again, it's an escape route for those kinds of real world events. So I think the fact that they reckon that they're competing with it is a little bit off, for me personally anyway. The report also addresses claims of younger audiences moving away from anime. Orniki argues that this narrative may gain traction, but that it does not necessarily reflect what's actually happening. Yeah, I don't actually think that is the case. I think more and more younger audiences are actually moving towards anime, and if anything, it's the older generation, like the unks and aunts.
I don't think younger audiences are moving away from anime necessarily. But I think anime is maybe moving away from younger audiences. I think maybe it's like half true, right? I think anime is moving away from them. They're producing less content for younger audiences, and they are focusing on adults as their core audience. A lot of the new series that you see being picked up, especially by publishers, they're almost always something that's aimed for adults. Even like some of the manga that I grew up with that was originally aimed for teens, later on, they just, I don't know, randomly decided to age it up and to move it to the Shonen Jump Plus platform, which is for older audiences. And all of a sudden there's like full frontal boobs in it, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. This is a weird thing to happen to the manga that I read as a 14-year-old, right? But I think I see less and less anime being aimed specifically towards the young teens. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just from my perspective. But I don't think the problem is that kids just don't like anime anymore. I think the problem is that kids just don't have anime to watch anymore. I think a lot of the new series have not been trying to get kids as their primary audience. And I understand why. It's the same reason why Disney started advertising more towards adults, is because, like, adults are the ones spending all the money. You know? So they just want that, like, kind of instant gratification. They want that instant payout for getting those kind of fans. Whereas if you're aiming for kids to be your fans, I guess you're planning maybe ahead that they're gonna grow up with the series and then pay out a lot more as they grow up and as they have money to give. Or you know, their parents will pay up for like toys and stuff. But yeah, I don't see kids, or teens, I guess I should say, because that's really what they're referring to when they say kids. I don't see the younger audience moving away from anime. I think they still like it very much. Now let's see. Everything is competing with everything. Music, film, games, anime, books, drawing, walk, sport, YouTube, it's all competing for your time. Correct. It's all competing for your time, absolutely. But as far as like what is like something people are desiring, what people have demand for, I don't know. I don't see anime as being something that's losing interest per se. Censoring nipples counts. Yeah, they still censor on Shonen Jump Plus. Well, whatever censoring nipper counts for. I've seen uncensored versions on Shonen Jump Plus. So I don't know. I don't know why you're seeing censored stuff. Maybe it's different depending on what the author wants, or maybe it's localization. That could be another thing, because some countries are really nitpicky about having like underaged characters be nude, right? So the government itself will make you censor stuff like that. That's something to also consider. But I'm pretty sure I have seen like full frontal nips, full nips on Shonen Jump Plus. But they were on an adult character, so maybe that's why. Crazy, I know. I can't say for sure. I would have to like look into it a little bit more. But yeah, what is going on?
of my generation who are the ones who are moving away from it because of the aforementioned ties in with political leanings and real-world events and, the blending of reality and fiction merging together on social media. Instead, he attributes recent declines in anime viewership within Japan to genre saturation, as well as the industry's growing focus on overseas markets, where revenue from streaming platforms often accounts for the majority of production costs. Yeah, genre saturation, aka way too much fucking isekai slop that no one gives a shit about. The fact that they just continue to pump this out as if this is what people want is the most misleading thing ever. The fact that there are literal hundreds and thousands of actually interesting concepts.
There are some genres that are artificially being pumped out too, that don't have the demand for it, don't sell very well, but they'll be pumped out anyway. They'll like increase the amount of how much they make of that genre, even though it's not selling. That's the most confusing thing for me, is when you have like some of the least selling genres get more money invested into them, because I think some publishers want to be known for that genre even though it's not selling well, so they'll just like make a long-term investment, it's like, oh, someday we're gonna have a huge fan base based around this genre, so start pumping out more stuff in that particular genre. You know how it is. But yeah, we are kind of getting close to the end of the stream now, so I'm not gonna really finish this, but I see a most replayed part, which makes me curious, so like maybe I have to go to the most replayed.
There are no such spaces, and I feel everything has become a bit shallower. But here's the thing that I just want to touch upon with this is that, yes, I agree, but unfortunately, this is not just an anime problem. Even the cinema world is running into this issue as well, because I don't think the average, cinema enjoyer or anime watcher wants to sit through these difficult to understand works, because I think for a lot of them, it just feels like homework. It's not the whole reason why they want to watch anime. The average anime fan today just wants to turn their brain off and watch some kind of visual spectacle, or watch a story that is a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to share and a lot easier to get hyped around. I don't think the average anime TikTok user is going to make fucking shorts on In This Corner of the World or Millennium Actress or anything like that and expect to pop off and create some kind of discourse in their comments, right? Like, that's not what these, and this is not like me yelling at the cloud, and this is not old man yelling at the cloud and being like, oh, these kids don't understand art today, because I think adults who are coming into the anime world post-COVID as well are also in the same boat, because I think because of things like YouTube Shorts and just this oversaturation of entertainment in cinema, in music, in art, in anime, has now just turned it into just this consumable product. Like, I remember seeing an article, and I don't know if this is a real article or if this was just fake news or whatever, which is another problem in and of itself, that says like there was a university in the States, for example, where the average cinematography student was really struggling to watch films during their class because they just didn't hold the attention on wanting to watch these like longer, older movies. And in my mind, I was just like, well, then why the fuck you?
Oh my god, this reminds me. There's like these like videos. There's videos specifically about like trying to keep your attention span, right? I have this one video in my fucking watch later that's like, it's not too late. You can fix your attention span right now. Here's how. I've never watched it. It's still in my watch later. I put it in there like 4 months ago. I think it's too late. I think I'm fucking cooked, man. But in all seriousness, yes, the ADHD thing is a huge problem, especially with social media fucking frying people's brains. 100%. 100%. All that being said, I don't think things fail, or I don't think a series will fail just because it's too complicated per se. Obviously, you have to, there's a balancing act, right? There's a balancing act between making something understandable for the audience that it's directed towards, without making it so simple that it's boring. Right? And if you balance those two things, that's when I think you make a masterpiece. For sure. Because, like, Frieren is a good example. It's a fairly simple overall story. It's nice and slow-paced and everything. But a lot of the topics that they touch upon are much more nuanced and complicated, and it makes you think, despite the majority of the show actually being very calm and slow-paced. Every now and then there's like an adrenaline rush, right, when you get a more action-oriented scene, but then they're touching upon these more complicated topics that are activating also the neurons in your brain and make you think about what you're actually watching. So it keeps it from being boring, in my opinion anyway. And There are also other types of anime that people classify as soul healing anime, where it's kind of just all boring but fairly wholesome stuff. That type of anime aims for a very specific demographic, mainly depressed people who just need something to turn on and have it make it so that they feel better by watching it. I actually kind of like the existence of that anime. I'm kind of glad that that exists, right? Because I like to feel good. I like that people have some sort of outlet of something that'll just, feel nice, good feeling, wholesome feelings, positivity. But yeah, for sure. I think that you can strike a balance between having something simple and something a little bit more complicated. I don't think everything needs to be this big adrenaline rush, endorphins, instant gratification right now, There's different types of entertainment that you can get from something that doesn't have to be super fast-paced. Especially, I don't even think it's necessarily a new thing that anime would be leaning towards that direction. Like I said, there's a lot of anime that I grew up with as a teenager that I really liked as a teenager. But when I grew up and rewatched it, I was like, this fucking sucks. And a lot of it was those super fast-paced comedies. A lot of it was. I try watching like some of these fast-paced teenage-oriented comedies, and it's like too much for me. And I'm like, man, this is ass. This is garbage. But as a teen, maybe part of it was the ADD. It's just like, oh, instant gratification right now. This is keeping my attention. Very quickly, everything is just happening. But yeah, totally. But I mean, feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments also. If you have your own opinion on whether or not anime is getting worse, whether you see the decline of anime, people losing interest in it, do you think it's going to keep on dipping down? Do you think that they're going to find their next golden goose soon? Because right now they're still on the hunt. Still on the hunt for that next golden goose that's really going to pay out the big bucks in the manga industry. Manga and anime industry, of course, they're kind of like intertwined, of course, yes. I mean, it is a shame that like a lot of these big series are ending, and I see it. I see it in the industry that they are a little bit lost and they're not really sure what's gonna replace it. So I hope something good comes out. I mean, that's all I got to say. Not that there's nothing good coming out, but a lot of the stuff that I'm enjoying because I'm me, and I don't really see it, a lot of the stuff, I don't really see it as being these really big hitter animes. Nothing like Dragon Ball, So, I'll keep an eye on this situation as it develops, but let me know your own thoughts. Thanks for joining in on the Friday with Dannphan. We're gonna call it here, guys, but really appreciate you stopping by, leaving your comments in the chat. Whew, I do gotta get going at this point, though. Tragically, I would have watched the whole video, but it's just one of those things where if it's not short enough, it doesn't last for the whole hour. But yeah, almost done with fulfilling the Reaper 2 campaign, so some of you should be getting your book soon. Check your emails, please. If you did back the campaign, check your email just to be extra sure. See if you got an email from me, check your spam, see if you got an email from Kickstarter. And yeah, we'll have more videos coming out real soon, reviewing some more indie manga and whatnot. I'll see you guys then, I suppose. So, yeah, happy Easter also. If I forget to post something on Easter, or you know, go have a happy Easter. Go have a good Sunday. It's a Good Friday right now. Go have a good Sunday as well. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see ya.